What's going on, gamers? So I thought I should make this video because there's something important to talk about. I like this title right here, this headline, because I know the Xbox community is happy. You know, I made the video earlier to show you guys that that's happening and how I think that's cool. But there's another side that needs to be done that's also incredibly important that I think a lot of people are too happy about and they're blindly not thinking about, and that's you may be getting tested. Mhm. What I mean by this is what Jazz is posting right here for this guy that wrote it. If you want more PlayStation games on Xbox, you better buy Helldivers 2. Sony will go where money goes. You see what I mean? And the reason why I think this is happening is because it's a live service game that's kind of like taken down a little bit, and Sony just wants to use that little edge of the Xbox community to get a boost up and test it at the same time. It got its fill on PC, it got its fill on PlayStation. Now it's time to just put it there. And marathon's coming too. So when it comes to live service, that's possible. You know what I mean? But if you're thinking single player and all that, guys, I don't think Sony's doing that. No. But what they're doing is they're making sure their live service game is more expansive. And if this means more live service games that may be successful to the future, they could pop up on the Xbox. That's not necessarily a bad thing, you know what I mean? But what you guys need to do is you need to show them that you're willing to support games like this because this is a game that fits 100% perfectly in the Xbox community. So this is the topic that we're going to be talking about in this video and why this is important. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's get into this. So going over to this article, it says, if you want more PlayStation games on Xbox, you better buy Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 is coming to Xbox supported and other PlayStation games might too. I wouldn't say that's guaranteed, but at least they'll know that they could put live service games on your console and you guys like online shooting games, co-op, you know what I mean? I mean, this is the dude, bro, you know what I mean? It's the Xbox console. So going down, a Helldiver holding a recordless rifle in Helldivers 2 open cinematic. By the way, I own Helldivers 2. I've had it since day one. Not an overrated game. Even part 1 was good too. Team Arrowhead is talented. Sony got lucky. It's been a pretty grim week for Xbox and its fans, to say at least. Yeah, a lot more than that. A huge week of Microsoft layoffs, which, by the way, I have another video I have to do on that, and I canceled my other video because I found out some truth. And it was what I was saying. It leads to AI, but that's a separate video. So we're going to get to that separately. Gave way to several major game cancellations for titles like Rare's Everwild and the Initiative's Perfect Dark. Yeah, I thought Sony was along with that, but Microsoft grabbed the Mario Mushroom and they're in the race with canceling games with Sony now, and they caught up very quick in one damn day. Then you see what's going on with Bethesda. Multiple funding projects ceased and stopped. You got like 4 or 5 cancels in one reveal. It's like, damn, bro. With the latter studio also shut down completely. This comes just weeks after a well-received Xbox game showcase, overshadowing the excitement and positivity from the event and calling Microsoft's commitment to upcoming projects into question. One bright piece of news amid all the ill tidings, which is nice, a light in the darkness, which is what this is, however, was a surprise announcement that Helldivers 2 is coming to Xbox. And it gives you an idea about the mentality of the leader now at PlayStation, Nishino and Totoki, where they're like, look, man, business, bro. We already got our fill on this. It ain't going to help move any more PlayStation consoles. It took the world when it could. It's down now. You know what I mean? The waves are not up at the top. It's coming all the way down, and we're about to hit a new low. So put that on Xbox and trampoline back up a little bit. Why not do it? I would do the same thing if I was leaving. Because from a business standpoint, it doesn't make any sense. Right? So if you already got what you got out of your exclusive, get rid of it and put it on another platform. At this point, this game that they're playing, you might as well, you know what I mean? That's the way I think of it. And if a miracle happened on the Xbox end and you don't support the game, that's y'all's fault. I'm telling you this because your market for the first time is being tested for something you never thought would be possible. And it's a game that perfectly fits into your ecosystem. Do you hear me, Xbox players? You have to support this game. You have to buy it. It's not free to play. It's not coming to Game Pass. It's a Sony premium title. This is the way they're looking at it. All right, guys, you all get out of complaint. Here you go. Now, guys, they did their job now. Something you thought Sony would never do. Everybody has to give their credit. Like I said, it just means you're just being an intelligent human being. Now, at this point, show them, at least for that game. So they put you in that position where you're gonna have to support my game. See, Sony fired back intelligently. That's the way to do it right there. Helldivers is more relevant than Gears at the moment. But we're going to see what happens when Gears hits PlayStation. I'm curious to see how that turns out too. And remember, they're both timed at the same time. So it's like, oh, you want to do that 70%? Well, here. Now, support my game. You know what I mean? It's been a pretty grim week for Xbox and as we've seen that blah 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 blah. One bright piece of news, as we saw, Helldivers 2, PlayStation Studios, that Microsoft's platform indeed is a port of the beloved 2024 co-op shooter, is heading to Series X and S later this year on 26. Complete with cross-play. It didn't say cross-progression, guys. It says cross-play support with PC and PlayStation 5. So if you have a Helldivers account, though, I don't see why anybody would leave PC to go to Xbox. It doesn't make any sense, or PlayStation. If you already have that, you're going to be there. So that's why I don't think that they would care about cross-progression. It's more about cross-play support. Because everybody is starting off on Xbox, you're fresh. You just want to be able to have that community on PC and over there. And that's what matters. So that's why I don't, I've heard people ask about that. I'm like, it doesn't matter, dude. I think if that was a big thing, they would have had that going between PC and PlayStation 5. And I think you can, so it might be there. They're not saying it here, but if I'm not mistaken, I think you can. You might have to, but you will have to buy the game again. You see? That's the thing. So it's a shocking development, and that's one that's potentially indicative of Sony being interested in bringing more of its first-party PlayStation experiences on Xbox. See, that's why I say that no, that does not mean that, because there's never been a day-and-date game on PC except a live service game. And one other game, Phantom Blade, because that is China's game, and China is a PC market, so that's an exception. But this does not mean that first-party games will be coming to Xbox. No, Sony's not doing that. What they're doing is they're putting a game on there that's still alive that they would like to keep alive. They're playing a smart move here, but it's a wise one, like I said. Now, could it potentially lead to something potentially if you guys support the game? It's a possibility, and I can see them bringing this to Switch too. Because if they're doing this, they're going to do that. Watch, it's going to happen. So yeah, it's a shocking development and one that's potentially indicative of Sony being interested. After all, the firm has been greatly expanding the list of PlayStation games on Windows PC. For years now, it is entirely possible that it's looking to dip its toes into Xbox waters as well. And it gets interesting, because it's like, okay. So with that said, Sony has historically valued the console exclusivity of its biggest titles. Yeah, but it didn't know Helldivers was going to blow up like that. Nobody saw that. That's why it was PC day and day, and that did it a favor. If it didn't do that, it would have not blew up like that. PC helped big time. So in that case, when it comes to live service, it's not about exclusives. It's about making the most money and expanding out and having the biggest community. Now, if we're talking about single-player games, that's different. So that's a different ballpark. But don't jump the gun like that like a fool. I'm telling you. This is a test, and it's also, like I told you, because of the reason why they're bringing it over here. And it doesn't hurt to do it. Just do it. Okay, so biggest titles, like cinematic single-player experiences, like God of War and Last of Us, as they, at least from a content perspective, giving the PlayStation maker a notable edge in the console war. Yeah, that definitely helps for sure. Brand power, obviously, as well, too. There's stuff companies going to sell. So that's different. Those are flagships, single-player immersive experiences, not live services. You constantly need somebody to support your game after they buy it. These offer gamers a major incentive to get a PlayStation instead of an Xbox. So it's highly unlikely these type of games will follow Helldivers 2 to Microsoft's console. No, that's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now, I do not believe that. No way. That would be a miracle. The games that are far more likely to, however, are multiplayer-focused live service. Exactly. Experiences like Arrowhead's live service game. That's what I'm saying. Or anything else coming down the line, like Marathon. You know what I mean? It's like, why is Marathon coming? It's like, dude, it makes sense. And that's kind of like an independent decision. It's like, we were going to do that anyways. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's different to where it's like, I'm specifically designing this for the PlayStation from the ground up. Not the same thing. That's why I said the live service games, they already said that's going to be day and date on PC. So if Xbox is pretty much synced with PC now, why not? You see what I mean? It kind of makes sense. Like, just be intelligent. So the games that are far more likely, however, are multiplayer-focused live service experiences. Yeah, exactly. These games stand to benefit greatly from multiplayer releases, as greater platform accessibility and naturally leads to higher play counts and more people buying MTX, microtransactions, which I hate, but yeah. Notably, this is something that Sony's likely learned by watching the business moves of none other than Microsoft, with the Xbox publisher releasing 4 games on PlayStation and Switch in spring. And along a few others recently, like Sea of Thieves, Grounded, Forza. On the whole, sales data from Xbox games released on PlayStation painted a mixed picture. Grounded only sold 432,000. Well, yeah, they're not going to sell that much, as I said. That's just the way things are. But it's still better than nothing. You'll have a flagship game like Forza sell a lot, or maybe something like Halo or something like that. And like I said, those extra cells are better than nothing. Just do it. You know what I mean? Uh, so undoubtedly, the success of Microsoft's multiplayer games on PlayStation has caught Sony's attention. But they have a huge base too. Uh, and Xbox's Helldivers 2 launched next month and is an experiment. That's what I believe with live service. It's a live service experiment, exactly, for a game that needs kind of like that little small oomph from the Xbox community because it fits that ecosystem. And that's what I see. So that's why I say you guys have to support this. It's one of the most important things from you because you have to think about this. What opportunity like this has ever happened from PlayStation coming to Xbox? It's a rare opportunity. You have to do it. So this is kind of what I wanted to cover here. And I think this subject is something that people are not talking about instead of just, saying, making it a console warring thing. But it's like, yeah, but at the end of the day, you are the one being tested and your market needs to step it up. Are you going to do it? Do you think all those other people will? Well, I think it'll be a solid boost because that game fits the Xbox community. But hey, time will tell, won't we? We're going to find out, huh? On the same day that Gears releases. Interesting stuff. All right, y'all, let me know what you guys think about this. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out. Have a good day. Later, y'all.